before we get into the latest on the Miami Dolphins, how many rounds of the 2024 NFL Draft will you watch? Hopefully here at Chat Sports. Sound off for me in the comments section right now. Let's get into the latest on Tua, who has spoken about his contract and status and all that good stuff at one of his football clinics out in Hawaii. Here's what Tua said to media there. Quote, "They've been good. Right now, I'm letting my agent handle that. I'm focused on my family. I'm focused on continuing to better myself, better my craft, and we'll talk more about that when that time comes. For now, exciting times ahead, that's for sure." That is the correct answer from Tua. That is the answer I would expect and that I would like to hear. Outside of maybe like I'm not going to talk about it. But that's basically the same thing there. I think we will see some movement come on this after the NFL draft. This is not a priority right now for Miami. All right, free agency's over. You're not going to benefit from creating all that extra salary cap space by paying them now. You're going to let that kind of go back to the back burner a little bit and revisit closer to camp. Some key dates to keep an eye out for amid reports of other players for other teams potentially holding out. Workouts begin in just a couple of days, April 15th. These are all voluntary, by the way. OTAs begin next month in May, also voluntary. May 20th and the 21st, 23rd, 28th, 29th, and the 31st as well. Then mandatory things begin. Mandatory minicamp set for June 4th to the 6th. Training camp is set for late July. The exact dates to be determined. 20th something would be the most likely outcome there. Or I guess 21st. No, it's only one of those. But anyway, late July is where things are going to come from that perspective. As we've mentioned previously, if you have anxiety about a holdout, I don't think that will happen. I don't think that's the type of contract disagreement that these two sides are trending towards, even if a deal isn't done by then. I don't get the vibe that Tua's going to want to hold out. I think he knows it's too important for the quarterback to be there. And I think the Dolphins will understand that, and they'll have a good plan in place that even if both sides aren't like over the moon thrilled we signed the contract, they're not angry at each other looking to have a big-time feud. So prediction time. Will Tua get a deal done before training camp? Y for yes, N for no. It is the pinned comment on this video, so you know the drill. Ad comes, ignore it. Don't care. Go vote instead, Y or N. Now, if your answer is yes, then you will know that sticker shock is going to be real. There is going to be he got how much money? Because that is how the quarterback contract market works. Things only go upward because the salary cap only goes upward. You could give Tua the Joe Burrow contract right now. Relative to the increase in salary cap, that starts to approach $62 million. Now, I don't think Tua's going to get $62 million, but it's not like Justin Herbert has all this great playoff success, right? I don't want to get into the whole Tua Herbert debate again because that kind of annoys me. But, Kyler Murray has zero playoff success. That was one of the worst playoffs I've ever seen in my entire life. Deshaun Watson's been a disaster signing for the Browns. Kirk Cousins got $45 million coming off a popped Achilles at his age. Tua's going to command $50+ million, I think. I would be shocked if he takes anything less than 50, and even maybe under 52, that's a team-friendly contract he gave because he can push for it. He played very well last year. Yes, we want better playoff results. I totally agree on that front. That is very understandable and valid and rational, etc. But you're talking about a guy that, depending on where you want to rank him, is probably in that top 10 range, or at least fringe top 10 range, and I would also argue has gotten better each season. At least been healthier last year. Interceptions jumped a bit, sure, but I think in this offense it works. He does a great job as kind of the point guard. No, he's not the same freakazoid that Josh Allen is. Not everybody is. You remember what it was like before Tua. The constant shuffling of quarterbacks. There's a reason why teams pay quarterbacks so much money, because it raises their floor. Yes, it's tough to win with that much money being paid, or at least it's harder to win with that much money being paid. Helps keep their jobs, though, because they'll be playoff contenders. So if you think Tua is a true top 10 quarterback, then you pay him. and you structure the deal properly to push the actual salary cap hits off into the future, then either pay him again or rebuild, because that regime probably got fired anyway. Today's show is made possible by Game Time. For last-minute tickets, flash deals, zone deals, and their best price guarantee, Game Time has everything you're looking for when it comes to buying tickets to your next big event. They take the guesswork out of buying tickets. You can see the all-in prices to see your total up front, so you know you're getting a great deal before you check out. Game Time has deals and tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. It is the place to find last-minute seats. The Game Time guarantee means you will always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So go over now to GameTime.co and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app, create your account, and use code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS for $20 off. That link, GameTime.co, and the promo code, CHATSPORTS, will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. Was listening to Locked On Dolphins with my good buddy Kyle Krabs over there, or not good buddy, but we follow each other. I know, and he's a really good Dolphins guy too. Friend of the show, let's call it that way. He explored the idea of adding Brock Bowers, and if he were there in the first round with no trade required, boom, I am in. You want a dynamic tight end option that also kind of satisfies your need for a third receiver? I think Brock Bowers would be a great pick for Miami. Look at what he did at Georgia. This is a different player, by the way, than Kyle Pitts. You know, Kyle Pitts was almost an outside wide receiver playing tight end. Brock Bowers is almost a big slot receiver playing tight end. He gives you the very impressive dynamic, ability of pass catcher. There are like a handful of tight ends ever who you're like, you know what? Let's give him a jet sweep. That's actually a good idea, not a stupid idea. That's Brock Bowers. He's a yak machine. He's an after-the-catch nightmare. When the ball's in his hands, he looks like a supersized running back sometimes. Difference is, I don't think he's a great blocker. I think he's good enough to survive there, but he would upgrade your tight end room. I think he's a little bit stiff and maybe more of a straight line athlete than like this elite separator potentially. I know you signed Smith before free agency typically began. You have Durham Smythe. This would be not just like, adding tight ends. This would be an investment. And if you're looking for your George Kittle, this is probably not him. I think supercharged Evan Ingram without the drops is what you're getting here. So would you draft Brock Bowers? D for draft, P for pass. Sound off for me in the comments section. Now, the problem here is, barring some unknown complication that we don't know about, he ain't going to be there for you in round one. Brock Bowers is not going to get past all those teams to the Dolphins pick. Some potential destinations here. I think the Jets at 10 really stand out. Dark Horse Bears at 9. Denver at 12. Sean Payton loves tight ends. Marquise Colston, Jimmy Graham. Colston was kind of a big slot. That's how you use Bowers. Colts at 15. Love tight ends. Saints at 14. Use a tight end. The Bengals at 18. That just makes so much sense, right? So you would have to trade up to get him, and there lies the rub. You don't have the assets to make that happen. To jump the Jets, trade with the Bears, would cost you roughly this trade package. A first and second this year, and a third next year. So you get one pick in the top like 170. Don't love that. Maybe you find a way to jump the Saints and the Colts. Well, you can get a fourth back from the Raiders. Still going to cost you your first and second. Maybe you jump to Seattle. And this one's a bit trickier because you don't really have the proper value. It's like a third-ish because you don't have a third this year. A future third and a future fifth. Again, that's kind of giving up a lot of draft capital for future years to move up 5 spots for tight end. Maybe that one could be a little bit more intriguing, but I think it's kind of a moot point. I think he goes top 15. So fun idea, worth having a conversation on. I think the reality is maybe a bit unlikely. Our goal is to get to 56,000 subscribers here before the NFL draft. We're 157 away. It's like 10 subs a day, basically. I'm rounding a little bit there, but close enough. Hit that sub button for more free Dolphins videos. Now, Adam Beasley of PFN explored the idea of the Dolphins. Well, what if they drafted Tyler Guyton in round 1 out of Oklahoma? My concern here is I don't think he's a good fit for what you're trying to do with this team. The pitch was he could be your long-term left tackle, play him at right guard in year 1. I don't think Guyton is a guard. I don't think his play style and his size at 6'8", 322 fits well for guard. He's a tackle. And I want my first-round pick to play. I'm a playoff contender. Insurance for an injury along the offensive line and trying to switch a guy to a totally new position and then change him again next year or whenever, I don't think that's a very viable plan. Frankly, I'm also not top 25 pick high on him. Second-round grade. I think there are things to like about him. It's an upside pick. He might even need a year of development, frankly, to be good to go. But I don't want to spend that pick at number 21. I don't like that plan for Miami. So kind of in a similar vein, who do you not want the Dolphins to draft in round 1? Sound off for me in the comment section right now. Look, you're banking on the upside here for Tyler Guyton. The athletic traits, the size, the mobility, the flashes of it are all great. But there is also bust downside of him not figuring out. He's a defensive end turned offensive tackle. His skill set should fit well in a zone blocking scheme for Miami, but he didn't do a great job of run blocking last year. Some penalties as well. He doesn't have a great feel for playing tackle. He needs to be coached up. That will take some time. I don't want to, if I'm trying to fix him as a tackle long term, trying to put him at guard short term, and it's what he hasn't played before, I don't like that idea. I think if you were to draft Guyton, probably wouldn't play in year 1. You'd probably make him your left tackle, and if when Teron Armstead got hurt, you need the insurance, sure, but I think you need a bigger impact in year 1 than a developmental left tackle or right tackle.